Ooh, the most above average podcast in the galaxy.
Turn the light off, like your memory
Welcome back to the most above average podcast in the galaxy. I am, like always, your host, Coach Eric. Unfortunately, Josh could not be with us today. Good news, though, he got a really, really cool job offer. So he called me the other day and he said that Victoria's Secret was expanding their line into a men's division. So Josh will be the face of Victor's Secret. So we wish him the best on his lace thong endeavors, and he will be back next time.
What is Victor's Secret?
It's a secret. You'll just have to wait to find out. I think it's going to be probably one of those things where it's like the elephant underwear where your junk goes in the elephant trunk, you know, but classy.
I actually am not familiar with those.
Maybe it's a West Coast thing. Maybe we'll branch it out to
maybe
Texas.
a California thing. Yeah.
It very, very well could be a California thing. And you know, there's a famous California quote. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it's not gay, it's TSA.
I have not heard that, but could be accurate. I get patted down every single time.
Allegedly, I have hot crotch because every time I go through the security, they point. They're like, you got to look at yourself on the little screen. I'm like,
see that?
Yeah. I'm like, I see it. There's a big red circle where my junk is.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to have to touch it. Okay. So today we're joined by my good friend, Mr. Ross. How are you today, Mr. Ross?
My bald brother.
Now, before we dive into it, I like to start lighthearted with a funny thing. We are both very sexy bald men. Now, when you become bald, your life changes, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, and sometimes it's just something different. I had an experience yesterday that I would have never thought could have happened. When you're bald, you cannot feel the wind direction. You just know that it's windy. So I go out. So my office is outside of my home. It's still on my property, and some days I just don't feel like walking into the house to pee. So I go behind my office because I'm a man and I can do that.
Oh, I do it all the time. It's freedom.
So it is windy. I cannot tell the direction of the wind. You know where I'm going with this story. I'm pissing in the wind, my friend. My calves were filled with pee and it was glorious.
I know exactly the feeling, bro.
And there's nothing, you know, it's too late at that point. You're like, well, the damage is done.
Yep.
So
sometimes I'll pee and I'm not even paying attention where anything is going. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's, you know, all over the wall or the fucking shoe or in my pants. Like I didn't even take my penis out.
I do.
That's funny.
Granted, I don't do this anymore because apparently when you get married, you're not allowed to. But I used to get up in the middle of the night, use the bathroom, and you just go by sound. Because if I open my eyes, I'll wake up. So once I hear water, I'm in the toilet. Yep.
I've got a hack for this, but your wife's got to be on board.
She's already not.
It's a win-win. You get to pee. You don't get in trouble. It's a win-win-win, I guess. You get to pee. You don't have, oh my God, there's multiple wins. You don't have to turn the light on. You don't get it on the toilet seat. You don't have to put the toilet seat up or down, and your wife's happy. You get a pee cup and just put it by the sink. Put it by the sink of the toilet, a big pee cup, pee in it, just flush it right down.
That sounds good. I will one-up you.
Okay.
Granted, I am a semi-retired bodybuilder, and now I live through my athletes, which is equally as cool, but different. When I used to be a full-blown super freak, my morning wood situation was atrocious. You just run way too much gear and it just never goes down. So I would just go into the shower because there's no way you can bend it down.
Yep. But then you get in trouble then because if the pee sits there, then now that's an issue.
Yeah,
And you
because then
turn
it smells
the
like
water
ammonia.
on. Yeah, I've done that.
There's no
many
winning.
times.
And you can't live with just a bunch of other dudes who do that, because then your house is gross and you'll never get laid.
Communal pee shower.
Gross.
Give me 1 second, Eric. I'm gonna go turn this fan on.
All right.
That's great urination lessons for all the younger males out there that are aspiring bodybuilders.
That's all this is. It's just education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the last episode we did was with Chris Santamaria. I don't know if you know who that is. Okay. So sometimes you hear a situation and it strikes a creative part in your brain that you just are like, I got a question, I got to ask it. Go back and listen to that episode because he talks about getting the poop bag twice. And he said the first one he had for 3 months, second one he had for 5 months. So curiosity got to me. So I had to ask the question and I felt super weird about it. And then I kind of giggled on the inside because obviously that's not an appropriate thing to laugh at the time. He said he had this bag for 3 months and he had another one for 5 months, which means that you don't have normal bowel movements. So I asked, do you have like that, like getting back on a bicycle thing when you have to start re-wiping your butt? What is that like to not wipe your butt for 5 months? I just thought about like,
have you been to the Middle East?
Madonna song.
Have you been to the Middle East?
No. He's here. He's in Minnesota.
No, have you been to the Middle East?
Oh, no.
Oh,
It's on my list.
it's amazing. You never have to wipe your butt.
Why? Because they do the squatty hole thing?
You have butt hoses.
Oh, fancy.
It is life-changing, bro. And it's not like a bidet. It's a full-on rocket stream of water. Just take it, put it in your ass.
It's like the adjustable handle with the
No,
hose.
it's just one. Yeah, it's just one stream. Yep. Blastoids of water to your anus.
I've got the Walmart version of that. It's called a garden hose. There's no HOA, so I can do whatever I want.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think we need to see a little video, the content of you pissing in the shower and then pissing in the yard like a dog.
Oh yeah, that's my side hustle, man. That's my new OnlyFans. Yeah, but anyway, all pissing aside. Oh, before we start this, I actually have a question. So I travel all over the place, just like I know you do too. And I see restaurants all the time. And sometimes I ask locals, I'm like, what is that? I've never heard of that. Do you have total brain fart on it? What's that hot dog place that's red and yellow? Starts with a W.
Oh, oh my God. It's a German name. Shit. Yes, there are here. Yes. There's one in Austin. Wiener Schnitzel or something like that.
You said wiener.
Yeah, I did. Something like that.
Yeah, that's it. It was just a setup to you say wiener.
Oh. Fuck you.
I never grew up.
You could have just said, you asked me what I like to suck. I mean, that could have been.
There you go. There's that too. That's just for the Brazilians though.
Oh, yes.
All right. All seriousness, Mr. Ross, you are indeed a very good pro bodybuilder. And I say that because the awarding of pro cards right now is getting a little bit over the top.
Oh, yeah.
But with that being said, you're a fantastic bodybuilder. You're a great pro bodybuilder.
Thank you.
How did you get into this? Because bodybuilding is not a typical lifestyle. Were you introduced to this young, or did you see it later in life and you're like, that's dope?
Well, I always liked training. I always liked having big muscles. And then my junior year of football for college, end of junior year, I started getting really into it, which ended up ruining my senior year of football. But when I graduated, as I was graduating, I would see these clips of like Arnold Schwarzenegger posing on the mountain, and I got really into like Greg Plitt and Kai Green. And at the time, bodybuilding was a very like dark sport. No one knew about it. Social media wasn't really a thing. There was no real big bodybuilding industry. It was not popular. And it was something that you could just be alone and work really, really hard at. And that really intrigued me. And now fast forward, 10 years, it's everyone wants to do it and it's super popular. And I'm like, this isn't really what I signed up for the industry. Like, it's now everyone does it and it's the cool thing to do. And I'm really an anti-cool person. But that's sort of, I guess, that, and then the underlying fact that I didn't want to be fat after college. All of my football buddies got fat, and I was like, dude, I'm not doing that. So pretty simple.
Now, how old are you when you do your first competition?
I was 25.
Okay. So you weren't one of those people who started when they were like 14. You were always, pretty physically active.
Yeah.
But the
Now
dedication.
it's super common for guys to start when they're like 18, 19, 20. And I feel like this generations of fitness competitors are a lot younger, and they've benefited from that. Like, I wish I would have, not wasted so much time.
I think there's pros and cons to everything. Like, I started working out in the gym the day that I turned 14. My parents got me a gym membership. I started taking gear when I was 17. Looking back on it, could you make the argument that I started too young? Yeah, probably. But from a coaching standpoint, it's allowed me to be a much, much better coach. Because I was able to go through everything. I was already, I was 20 years old benching 530. I was 20 years old. I had already hit over 285 pounds. I was already a gigantic human being, and not a very tall, I'm not short. I'm gravity challenged. I'm 5'10" on a good day.
Okay.
So I've been big. I've been small. I've been shredded. I've been everything in between. And I was able to go through all those things early on. So I think having, I guess, if you look at it from like a college standpoint, the party people, they got it all out of their system when they were younger. So when they got to college or whatever, they were in control. Now that I'm older and I've done all the stupid things, I've done DNP, I've done all the hoopla, I can take a look back at it and be like, okay, I've learned from these. I'm a better coach because of this. I can save these athletes from these issues. You have a great coach who also started very early too.
Yep.
Going from a team sport, was it easier going into bodybuilding? Because now you don't have to rely on other people. Now your success is deemed on your own efforts.
Bro, that's why I did it. Like, my senior year of football, I was a running back, and my junior year, best college football experience I ever had, best season, best stats, everything. And then senior year, I could not get a block. Like, it was just a totally different team. I was frustrated. I remember crying to my coach one time. I was like, I'm busting my ass every single day. Worked the hardest I ever did this summer for football, and I'm not even getting the opportunity to make it out of the backfield, like over and over and over again. And then I was like, well, bodybuilding, it's just me. Like, I can put that same energy that I did in football to the weight room, to the diet, to the cardio, to posing. And and at the end of the day, I'm fully control over the outcome of it. And that's what really intrigued me about it, for sure. So it was an super easy transition. I was ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That sucks when you're putting all the effort in and the other people are dragging ass.
Yep.
It makes you resent them, and you're like, well, why am I even doing this? Why am I putting in all this work and they're getting my benefits?
Uh-huh.
That's why socialism doesn't work. Zinger.
Exactly right.
Okay. So now you've got this mindset, this is what it's going to take. It's me. I'm my own victim. I'm my own boss. I'm my own savior. I'm everything. What does that transition look like going from, okay, I did my first bodybuilding show. I'm going to really push it. Because now maybe, is this when you bring in Dom? When does Dom come into this?
Dom doesn't come in till 3 years later. I did a show in 20. Fuck, I can't remember. What year is it today? 2020, 25?
5. Yeah.
I graduated college 2019, I think. No, oh my God, when did I graduate college? 2013. Okay, got it. So I did a show. Man, honestly, don't even remember. 2017. 2017 is when I did my first show, and then I didn't hire Dom until. Dude, that's incorrect as well. I hired Dom in 2018. That's right. So 2018, 3 years before that, 2015. Okay. First show at 2015 when I was 25. Then I hired Dom 3 years later, after I coached with Boston Lloyd and Dave Palumbo, and both really didn't know what the hell they were doing. And it wasn't until I got with Dom that everything changed. Like my level of training intensity, adherence to diet, the amount of food I was eating, my blood work, my health supplements, everything changed when I hired him. And that's why I hired him, because I was like, I'm not getting the level of, not the level, I'm not getting the outcome I'm wanting, or not, I'm not getting the outcome that matches my effort right now in bodybuilding. And I felt like, with my other coaches, it was just like, there was no coaching, there was plan giving, if that makes sense. And
I talk about this all the time.
Yeah, and once you experience the two, it's really, apparent the difference between coaching and plan sending. So I had plan senders, and that's what sparked my personal coaching too. The difference in coaching versus plan sending.
So you're already in the competitive side. You've seen, two very dramatically different coaches.
Yep.
Boston and Dave are completely different people. And then, third time's a charm. Dom comes in, he's a wealth of knowledge. I know he gives a shit. I've met Dom before. Super, super great guy. Also bald.
Not anymore.
Oh, is it coming back?
Yeah, he's growing a ponytail.
Ooh.
Biker ponytail.
Like a man bun?
No, just on the top.
Okay.
Like a biker.
Okay. So not gay man bun.
Yeah, he's half gay. I make up the other half, so together it was just a gay couple.
It's like the yin and yang, but 69.
Yeah.
Okay. So peaking athletes from the competitive bodybuilding side, I've said this for years, that it is an art form, because every body responds differently. And there's so many different ways to do it. There's not, this is my way or the highway. You've got, a gazillion ways to do water manipulation. You're doing a water load, you're doing a water pool. Sometimes you're doing, water and carb manipulation, where the water goes down, the carbs come up. Sometimes you just flatline it. You're like, cool, like we're solid a week out. We're just going to flatline this bitch there and then drink coffee. Tons of different ways to do it. Your pro debut. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So pro debut for Indie Pro, the whole prep was long, dude. The prep was like 30 week prep. 30 week prep. And I was fat for a long time. But the last 6 weeks, like I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm on set to have the best prep and the best pro debut. Like I'm going to fucking nail it. And we cruising right into the peak week. We get to Indy. We actually cheers. I remember we posted side by sides of 2 front shots, 2 back shots the day before of show day. And I remember Dom telling me, like, dude, these got to the judges. Like they're psyched. They're hyped to see you on stage. And, we were expecting and hoping that I could probably place 4th, which would be insane. And we on video, we cheersed to having, and the words came, "This is a perfect prep." We cheersed, had a shot of vodka. And then I took an edible. Okay. And I normally take edibles, but for some reason it didn't react with the alcohol properly. And what ended up happening was I tried to go to bed. My body went completely like paralyzed, but my brain couldn't shut off, like into a manic, paranoid state. And I started freaking out and then started vaping more and more to try to turn my brain off. And before you know it, my wife at the time was flying in from Texas, landed in Indianapolis at 2:30 in the morning. She opened the bedroom to the Airbnb. She couldn't find me. Comes to find out that I am in the shower, standing up, naked, with the water off, like passed out in the shower. So I end up going to bed, and as soon as I wake up, I don't know if you've ever binge ate, like post show, and you can feel the retention, like a blimp, like you're so waterlogged. I remember just like doing this, like in bed, and I'm like, oh my God. I remember screaming, Dom, and he comes in, he goes, what? I go, dude, I don't even know what happened. I didn't sleep last night. I freaked out. And I remember his eyes. He has pretty big eyes. His eyes were like, and he just left the room. He didn't say anything. He just left the room. So, basically a massive cortisol spike, like from not sleeping and the hyperflight, and my body was like super waterlogged. We went to the posing room, and I have these pictures on my phone. Maybe I can send it to you after. It was the night of the show, the night before the show. My face was sunken in the night, and in the morning of the show, and my face was like I looked like I was peak off season. I had so much water in my body. I was sweating profusely. I had edema all in my legs from even the posing trunks. And I got on stage, looked completely like shit, because of it. And then, we got off stage prejudging, and I was like, as soon as I get back, we're starting on my redemption, and we're going to do, what did we end up doing? California. Yeah. Well, we'll do a show exactly 1 year from now, because the indie show ended. So we picked California, which is the week after. So, 53 weeks of work for redemption. And then I ended up winning California.
So I'm a fan of the sport. That's why I do what I do. I just truly love it. And I watched your entire prep. I watched everything leading up to the pro debut, you talking about what had happened, and it was heartfelt because I'm emotionally invested. And then I'm watching you just feel so defeated, which then made me feel defeated too. And then seeing that redemption come back, you go to the Cal, you dominate. Incredible. Such a well-deserved win. Were you, obviously, motivation is at all-time high for something like this. And staying disciplined is relatively straightforward because it's just part of the day-to-day routine. Was it easier getting back on stage knowing that you were just hungry, or was it just about the same?
What was the question?
Mentally, are you hungry to get back on stage, or are you angry? Are you just excited to be back up there?
Yeah, I was so focused on, I had zero mental thought on my placing or how I was going to place. All I wanted to do was just show people and show myself what I was capable of doing. And that was my sole focus. We had a phrase that we said the whole prep. We just wanted to land the plane. I don't care where we are on the runway. I just need to land the fucking plane. And I think if I land the plane, something good will happen. Because in Indy, we were like this, blew up before we landed. So that was really my main focus. And then and to my maybe detriment, when they announced my name, I didn't even know what the fuck was happening, because I didn't even know how to react, because my thought was not even, I had never thought about that. Like, it wasn't a thought that I'm going to go for a win. So I didn't even know how to react.
You have the best stage reaction, period. Because that's totally how I would react.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, total fuck yeah.
Yeah. And and going back to the very first question you asked me about, how it started in college, I put all that same effort into football. And when I scored touchdowns, that's how I would celebrate. Like, I went absolutely fucking nuts when I scored. And that's what it was, like a giant, like 2, 3, 10 years, was at that point, 7-year buildup of a touchdown. That's what came out on stage.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious.
So my plan is hopefully be back next year. But I'm just like playing whack-a-mole with body injuries that I can't seem to get healthy.
So we'll just parlay that into the next thing. Rhabdo.
Yeah.
Not comfortable by any means. You unfortunately had it 2 times.
I've had it 4.
Oh shit. I didn't know that. Yeah. All back to back?
No, I had it after my first show.
Okay.
And I was on stage around 191, and then 21 days later, I was in the hospital at 248. I had so much water weight and edema that my heart was not doing well. I had just pitting edema in my legs, and my boss at the time actually called the ambulance from work. She was like, "You can't even speak, dude." My breath was, yeah, it was nuts. So come to find out, I was fine. I just had rhabdo. That was in 2015. Had it then I had it after Indy, I think. And then I had it after California twice, I believe. Back to back.
Not super enjoyable.
No, but to cut you off here, but I've just like starting, you were saying, like, started young. I've gained so much knowledge from that, and it's allowed me to become a better bodybuilder, I think, now, and a better coach, and just know like, me and Dom talk about this all the time, the importance of, and it's such an overused term now, stress management. Stress controls your body. How the brain and the gut and everything about the body is controlled by stress. I don't think a lot of people train hard enough to have to manage their stress, but when you do, it's like essential. You have to manage your stress.
I've noticed consistently that when I deal with athletes, even just general pop people, which is not something that I normally do. Primarily, I stick with either diabetic-related people or competitive athletes. I can do other things. That's just the shit that I like to do. Consistently, I've seen a lot of people that work in the medical field have really, really unregulated stress management. They're also extremely depleted in other vital nutrition. But I try to work with a lot of these people for that. And again, it's a widely overused thing because they're like, well, stress management. Yeah, but what about it? There's so many different variables to it. So we talk a lot about, and I work with it's my personal favorite vendor that I deal with is cosmicnootropic.com. They have all sorts of really neat things for brain-related function. And so I don't know if this is something that you go in detail with your people. Hi, Kitty. I work with a lot of people with trying to get them to have the most ideal brain function. And I say ideal because if you overstimulate, it's like, I love new pets. It's part of my daily routine. 10 milligrams first thing in the morning, go. But I know that if I overdo it, the neurons are too active and you can't stay focused, which then kind of like when you had the edible with the vodka, the body goes crazy. So finding that optimal range for stuff like that, or if I have people doing meditation lessons, or if they're doing assisted meditation, they're doing, something with psilocybin mushrooms, or maybe even something else, I had to do a thing with them, and I call it cranial expansion. I'm sure there's a better word for it, but when you're meditating and you're laying on the ground, you're trying to sink into the ground as aggressively as you can. So the back part of your brain should feel like it's sinking into the ground. But visually, if you're having an assisted meditation, you're trying to visually move forward. So the front of your brain is going away from you, and the back of your brain is going into the ground. So you are having cranial expansion. The more neurons that you have that are active help regulate your stress throughout the entire body. And the example that I give people is, if I give you a 100-pound stone by yourself, the 100 pounds is going to feel really fucking heavy. But every single one of those neurons that turns on is now a new friend of yours that's going to help you carry that. So if you have 19 other new friends that are going to carry that 100 pound, now that 100 pounds is divided against 20 people. Well, 5 pounds doesn't seem nearly as daunting as 100.
Yeah.
So if you can get the body to work more efficiently on the inside, the outside will show. Your skin quality improves, your hair, off, it gets improved as well. And especially women with PCOS, females forget that the testosterone produced in a female body, not a trans, a real female body, is through the adrenal glands. So if you are overly stressed out and you are unable to regulate these things, your hormone production is in the gutter. You're not going to be able to regulate your inflammation. Your period's going to be whacked. Your hair's going to fall out. Your skin's going to look like shit. And then you're going to be grouchy and be bloated. So yes, stress management truly is a wonderful thing.
Yep.
So circling back, you and I are both pretty old school. We got into bodybuilding when it was still just freaks. I love freaks. That's totally my bread and butter. If you want to be 280 pounds walking around with veins, I'm your guy. I love shit like that. Fit model, it's cool. It's whatever. It's not my cup of tea, but it's whatever. Going back into early days of bodybuilding, you didn't have to be likable. You just had to be good because there was no social media. People didn't have constant access to you. So when you see people in the magazine, no one knew that Sean Ray wasn't an enjoyable person to be around.
You just saw his picture.
Yeah. And you're like, that guy looks amazing. We should give him a huge paying contract every month. Dope. Fast forward, everyone has instant access to you all the time. So now you have to be likable. And from a business standpoint, it works out pretty good for the business owner. Why would I give one particular athlete 10 grand a month when I can have all these micro influencers with affiliate links? They think that they have established some kind of value, and now they're doing all the marketing for me. I just saved thousands of dollars in advertising, and some little kid in the gym with a tripod is doing it all for me. I say that because you have some of the most creative and entertaining bits of content out there.
Thank you.
They're always fun. Sometimes they're a little bit over the top, but I enjoy it. Two things about this. One, do you find creative roadblocks? Second thing is, now that you have an audience, I don't want to call it a following because I think that sounds creepy. You have an audience, people that value you, people that value what you say. Do you find it tricky to pick companies that you want to work with, or how that you present yourself? Is there a character Ross versus business Ross? What do people see day to day in compared to what they see online?
So you want to answer the first one first?
So in any order you want.
Creative roadblock.
Creative roadblock.
So I would ask first, what is your definition of roadblock?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. a lot of people don't know this, but I do other characters. Like most people know me for Welcome to Lore. A lot of educational related things, whether it be training, whether it be gear, whatever it may be. People know me as a science person. I like to do comedy related things, but I don't push it very much because some of the jokes are what they would consider offensive. Debatable. When I write bits, some days they just flow. It's like a creative just outburst. I'm like, oh my God, I just created, 10 new comedy routines. And then I might go an entire week and I can't think of anything funny. Do you have an issue with thinking of like, okay, I've got this product for AD. I need to come up with 2 videos for this week. Do you just sit there and stare at the bottle and you're like, fuck?
No. So this is, I don't think about content. It just happens. So I'll never like have a cup of coffee and sit down and say, man, I'm lacking content here. I need to think of ideas. I don't really think of ideas. Every single thing happens organically. Now in the most recent, and it happens with I won't directly think, but I will wait. And I'll put time frames on when I have to wait for ideas to come. And usually it's just waiting for inspiration. Like the super simple video I had to do, I'm actually Friday, I'm flying up to Detroit for one of Flavor Gang, a wholesale account, My Nutrition or My Nutrition in Detroit. They're doing a 11th anniversary party. And Dalton, the owner, needed a video from me. And I was like, okay, well, when do you need it by? I need it by this date. I was like, okay. And I never stressed about what am I going to do for the video, because I asked him, do you want some Ross flair to it? He goes, yes, please. So I was like, okay, I know the idea, inspiration will come. And it just happened so that he needed it by Monday and I still didn't have it done because I was waiting. I was waiting for the idea to come. And I was, my girlfriend's, her little daughter, this particular day, she's 7, her door was left open the whole day and she left her lullaby on the whole night and the whole day. And it's like 2:00 in the morning and I'm going, just moved into the house. So I'm hearing this lullaby in the back of my head, like subconsciously the whole day. And I'm like, oh my God, here's my idea. I got it. I'm going to go into her bed. I'm going to keep the lullaby on, draw the shades down, make it dark. And I'm going to pretend like I'm about to, go to bed as a kid and I'm dreaming about this event. And that's what it was. And sent the video. He loved it. And I was like, boom, that's how my creativity comes about. I know it's probably not the best answer, but that's literally what happens. And then when it does,
creative breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wait for these breakthroughs. And when it happens, I have a bunch of notepads and documents that I put all these ideas in. And then when I need to pull content, I'll just go into my folders and I'll say, oh, I have, something for Project AD. I have, 15 fiber ideas. And then I'll just pull them. Because once I have an idea, I will put a note in my phone. Like, so like if I have an idea today, I'll just go to my notepad, to-do list for tomorrow, flesh out, Project AD, poop video or something like that, whatever. So then tomorrow, the next day, I'll sit down and then I'll type out my idea. I'll do the script. I'll do everything I need. And that's how the process usually goes.
Nice.
And then what was the other questions?
Brain fart. It'll come to me at the most random time too, and I'll be like, son of a bitch.
Something. Oh, how do I pick companies?
Oh, okay, yeah. So now that you've established value for yourself, when you're looking to work with a company because you are a business owner yourself, which we'll talk about shortly, what is it that you look for of someone that you would want to work with? even if they weren't going to give you like a monthly contract, they said, hey, you know, we want you to be a brand ambassador, and you saw potential in the company or whatever. What is something that you look for?
Man, so I have the Flavor Gang, which allows me to do what I want. And I only really work with 2 other companies. I only work with Project AD. They compensate me for my marketing, my voice, my advocation, and my discount code, stuff like that. They allow me to do what I want. They're like, don't change, just keep doing you. Because in my, I think we share the same thing. The supplement company is so saturated, and every single athlete or sponsored affiliate or whatever, they do the same thing. And I'm like, as a consumer, so I'm a consumer first, I would never look at a hot girl having her shake and doing this on the bench at a gym and say, oh my God, I'm going to buy that. I don't think anyone buys like that.
I hope not. Fuck.
But everyone keeps doing it, and like, oh, like a mean face while I'm opening this. I'm like, that's so boring. It's not creative, and it's overdone. And there's a million supplement companies with a million athletes. They all do the same thing. So my philosophy is, I just want to be creative. And if I can make some people laugh while having some undertone of credible education, like when I love Project AD's digestive supplements. They actually work. I love them. And then when I plug a video where it has humor, but it's, undertone of some education, and then I get messages like, oh my God, I tried this and it really does work. I'm like, you can sell it in a way that you want to sell it without actually selling things,
Yeah. Take out the slimy sales aspect of it.
Yeah.
And just here, this is a beneficial thing I think will be great for you.
Yep.
Yeah. I did something the other day, and I felt like I rushed the video, and they had asked for this video like a full week before. But I was like, I need time to really dig into it. And it was for a skincare product. And I get emails every single day like, hey, will you do a product review for this? Will you do something like this? Do something for your team. And Cosmic Nootropics sent me this email, and they're like, we have this thing and we would love for you to do it. And I read the ingredients, and it was something that caught me off guard because it was something I didn't even know what it was. And the ingredient is called SKQ1. And it was the most fascinating thing to read. And so they sent me 2 different products. They sent me a gel and they sent me the serum. The serum was pretty expensive. I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a fair shot. I understand the science behind it. I cannot begin to tell you, I felt bad for taking the product for free. It's so good. I've already ordered 3 bottles just to give out for Christmas time, because what it does for the skin quality, just for the gel, I'm not even getting into the serum yet. It's so mind-blowing. It completely turns the mitochondria back on in all of your cells. So I used to have super gnarly black like raccoon eyes. Gone. All of the tightness came back in my forehead. All of this, I have this like beautiful angelic skin now. And I was like, this is worth at least 4 times what you guys are charging. This is the most amazing thing. So every once in a while I'll come across something like that. I'm like, this is great. I was like, but how do I explain it to where it's not like, go buy this shit?
Yeah.
Here's my discount code.
Especially when you authentically, honestly want them to buy it because it's so good. And I ranted about this yesterday or something. This whole influencing vertical or influencing environment is so poorly done that the trust between a brand or a trust between an influencer and a consumer is so shitty that if I tell you, dude, you need to go buy this product, everyone else is saying the same thing, but you buy the product and it sucks. Well, it's like now I'm literally telling you it's so good you need to buy it, but you don't trust me. And it's because the lack of trust is not built. And that's why I try not to tell people to buy these things when I really just want them to. That's the difficult part.
Yeah. The fine line that we walk.
Mm-hmm.
So, business-wise, you're a serial entrepreneur. I love that pun. I've been waiting to tell you this for a week.
I love it.
So, you got flavor gangs. Everybody knows this. You're the sauce boss. You're Ross. Let's go back, because that wasn't the first thing. The cafe was first, right?
Yep. So 2017, my wife at the time and I moved from Maryland to Texas, Austin, Texas, to open up a bakery. And that was based on some muffins that she used to make for, I used to do in-home personal training, and I trained a lot of kids. And she made these muffins for my digestive issues. Long story short, the kids that I trained fucking loved them. And I was like, if these bratty, like snot-nosy kids love these muffins, like, dude, we have something, because they're super good. So started with a simple concept. We started really small, doing a shared kitchen, commissary kitchen. Then we rented another space, and that space turned into it turned from just a bakery to a cafe. Then I had to quit my job. I had to join the bakery with her in the cafe to make lunch and breakfast. Then it started to do meal prep. And then in 6 weeks, we outgrew the space, closed the business, and then invested money into a real restaurant space. And then we had that space for 2 full years before we opened up the Flavor Gang in 2020. And then I left the bakery and cafe to run the Flavor Gang.
Now, scaling for a business obviously is very necessary. I mean, this is part of growth, because if you don't, you're not going to make any money. When you started, kind of sounded like it was like a hobby, like a fun little side hustle thing. When you jumped into it, into the deep end, and it became, okay, this is a business and that we got to really push for it, what were some of the first business struggles that you saw? I mean, most people don't know, when you cook food and you don't have your own kitchen and you're renting a certified kitchen, it's not always the easiest thing, because then you're based off someone else's schedule and you're trying to cook and you're trying to do all these other things on borrowed time. Getting into that, what are some of the things that you're learning the hard way?
Man, honestly, we were super fortunate or lucky. The issue from day one has always been we couldn't keep up. That was always the issue. We could not keep up with the demand. Most people struggle with, getting the demand. We could not keep up, and it drove us insane. No matter what we do, we had to open up more restaurant spaces, more staff, more and more, and we just could never keep up. Honestly, that was the biggest struggle always. And then always not having a perfect kitchen set up. It was always like operating on a pros and cons list. Like we had this, but we didn't have enough storage space, or we had this and we didn't have enough like grill space. So it was always just like dealing with dealing with our current spaces. I wish I had like some inspirational thing to work through and persevere, but it was always super long days, super long nights. I remember we had to sleep in the restaurant a couple times on the floor just because we were too busy. We could not keep up.
Now, I truly don't know the origin of this story, so I'm fascinated to hear and learn for myself. When you started doing the sauces, how did that come about?
It was with the cafe. So I was in charge of the food. My wife at the time, Elena, was in charge of the bakery. So my concept for food was forever changing menus, because we were doing like sneaky health food where you wouldn't know that it was only 300 calories, only 400 calories, or no sugar. So I always had to make food exciting to really build up that repeat business. and really tap into what people are comfortable with. So it started with some sandwiches and some meal prep items, making the sauces. And the first one we did was a sriracha maple vinaigrette, but it was an oil base because it was for a salad. And then as that progressed, we found out that we want to make it lower calorie. So then we took out the oil. And then we just started with different recipe concepts for made to order food, like traditional food and meal prep food. And then before you know it, like people were asking for, what's this sauce on this one? I want this one. And then it just blew up. And then I started, to work on labels and bottles for some of the sauces, and, just kind of grew from there.
When you're coming up with different sauces, are you thinking about it like, what would this pair with? Like, like I really enjoy this one green hot sauce and it goes so good with eggs, but it's pretty shit on anything else. When you're kind of mapping out like, okay, we're going to come out with a new sauce, are you already having an idea of what kind of food you're pairing it with, or are you just going for a particular flavor palette?
I will answer this with an example. So at Flavor Gang, we make everything in house, just like a regular restaurant or, a scratch kitchen. And very similar to how I create content, I wait for inspiration. My buddy Goob, I'm sure you know Goob, John Dorsey, right? He sent me.
I fear that one day I will end up on his channel. He's going to be like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with the stupid tricep video.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. So he'll send me some inspirations, every now and then. He likes this Japanese barbecue. I forget what it's called. I've had it before. I'm not a fan, but he's like, I love this, but I know you can do better. I said, okay, I'll think about it. So I began to think, I don't like to do what anyone else does. And I was thinking about Japanese and barbecue. And I was like, what is one of my favorite foods? And I was like, oh, this is super easy. The hibachi steakhouses.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is when they bring the soup out and the salad, the little ginger salad.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things. Like, I'm not a salad guy, but I eat the fuck out of that every time. More bowls, 4 bowls, 5 bowls. And I was like, oh my God, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a Japanese barbecue merged with a ginger dressing, like a Japanese ginger dressing. So actually, I went on live on Instagram yesterday and got the second round of iterations for that sauce. And I was like, dude, this is really good. Like, I have it marinating on a flank steak right now. And that's sort of how I come up with things. I have an inspiration. Then I go to my team, I write out a recipe, and then I say, oh, this will be really good on flank steak, beef, eggs. So sort of in reverse.
Now, from a manufacturing standpoint, you're dealing with a live product, something that, in due time would go bad. When you're looking at getting things for shelf life, are you just bottling it, sending it out to the customer, leaving it in your refrigerator so it doesn't get gross? Are you adding a preservative to it to help keep it stable for a longer shelf life? Manufacturing wise, what do you do for stuff like that?
It really depends on the sauce or the item. Like, for example, like a vinegar is a natural preservative. First off, we need preservatives in everything. Like, if a world without preservatives, we would not be here, because we'd have so much bacteria in the food. So there's different preservatives, natural, artificial, or chemically made. I personally don't have a problem with artificial or any kind of preservatives. Personally, I would say that there's always dosage is the poison. Or if you're consuming nothing but heavy base preservative foods, probably not going to be the best thing. But it all depends. There's a bunch of different preservatives. There's salt. There's vinegar. There's sodium. Oh my God, sodium benzoate, potassium sorbates, all these types of things. But they all have a different effect on the flavor and the consistency. So, like for example, we just came out with a glizzy sauce, which is like a tangy pickle sauce. That one is just our mustard that we make with vinegar, distilled vinegar, which is a preservative, and then we use just a generic relish, which is a cucumber pickled in vinegar, and that's shelf stable. So I don't need to add anything to that. And then if we're doing something with like a tomato, and I want it to be shelf stable, we're gonna have to add some extra sodium or potassium to preserve it. But then that may change the texture, it may change the oxidation of the sauce. There's so many things that you have to put into perspective or put into to focus when you're doing any types of manufacturing.
I own and operate a handful of companies, one of them being a supplement thing, and we do all the manufacturing in-house. And so I'm always fascinated by the manufacturing side. And I already knew what was in the sauces, but I wanted people to understand that the products that you make are clean and they're good to use, that they're
Yeah.
not just a walking thing of chemicals.
No, and I would never put anything in my body that, or I would never sell anything that I wouldn't eat personally. I eat my sauces every day for every meal for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just, sprinkle in a little bit of organic trend, just like Mike O'Hearn.
yep.
Yep.
Yep, you're good.
Duck eggs. That's what it is.
$8 an egg duck eggs.
Hey, my Costco started selling duck eggs. I almost bought some.
Hmm.
But then I said, nope, not for me. All right. Okay, manufacturing thing. Most people are not going to give a flying fuck about this. I think it's interesting. When you're doing the flavoring for cereal, the manufacturing behind it is always really neat because you're talking about like a gigantic V mixer and stuff like that. When you're doing the flavoring and then you're thinking about doing the sweetening and stuff like that, we use a company called Icon Food up in Oregon for all of our sweeteners. So we can get food grade monk fruit, food grade stevia, all these kind of things like that. When you started playing around with the different sweeteners and whatnot, was there one that you really liked? You're like, oh, I'd love to do this. I really enjoy the way that this flavor came out. Because when I started flavoring like our protein, and we pioneered the chewable pre-workout well over 12 years ago. It's not gummies. Ours are tablets. The gummy people, fuck those guys. They stole it from us. But I handpicked everything. So I handpicked the food grade monk fruits, the stevia for certain ones that we were going to do and whatnot. And sometimes we use a blend, things like that. One, what do you use? And two, would you go back and do it any different if it was just for you?
So great question. I am a sucralose guy. I love sucralose. In my opinion, I think it's the best, sweetest sweetener. It's the strongest sweetener, so I can use the least amount of it. I think it packs the most punch of a sweetness, and that is the only sweetener I use. That's the only sweetener we use in our products. I used to be a huge stevia guy. I used to be like a stevia Nazi, and I would find that over time, it gave me really bad acid reflux for some reason, and I began to realize it's very bitter. And like I said in the last question, I would never sell anything I don't eat. Monk fruit, erythritol, xylitol, allulose, all give me diarrhea. I can't sell a product that I'm not eating because that would be, in my opinion, dishonest. So if I'm not even eating the products I'm making, then I can't advocate that. So I make what I sell what I eat. I love sucralose. That's the one we use. And I think it's perfectly fine. And I think it's fucking delicious.
Hey, man. Proof is in the pudding. People love it. we'll probably delay this episode from coming out. So if you want to give me any sneak peeks about a new flavor that's coming out, tell me now.
I have nothing here, but I have like a play on a Samoa Girl Scout cookie for the bowl of gains. In terms of sauces, I don't have anything working right now that's like close to production, other than we have our sauce packets coming out. They're here, landed. We just have to build in the systems to sell, and then I have a whole new line of bowl of gains with some inclusions coming out, and I have been working on that for a long time, and I'm super fucking excited about that. But nothing in the radar like that, like crazy new flavors.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Fun expansion.
Yes.
So as we get ready to wrap it up, I have one last question. And I like to ask this thing. I take that back. I have two. I lied. Two
Cool.
questions. I'm a liar. When you hire someone to come work for you, what are key things that you look for when you're going through the interview process? I have mine, and I'll give my examples too, but I want to hear what you look for.
Thank God I don't have to hire people anymore, but I am involved in the process. I'm involved more in the retention of an employee, versus the onboarding and training and hiring. I have an amazing team that does that all. But I do communicate obviously with our managers about staff members, and I look for two things. Like, our most important currencies are attitude and effort. So if you have a good attitude, I can work with any other thing. And if you give good effort, like, I know you're a worker. Those two things, I don't care where you came from, what skills you have, what skills you don't have. If you don't have skills, but you have a really good effort and a really good attitude, you're going to learn a new skill. So those two, and the next two would just probably be honesty, and in food, consistency. Like, food in my world, consistency is everything. And one inconsistency could be a fucking dumpster fire. So those are probably the top four.
Those are all really good. I took this class in college years ago. It was an interpersonal communications class, and I learned all sorts of really interesting things about when you talk to people, the proper way to make eye contact, what to look for when you're asking questions, reading body language and stuff like that. So then when I started, I've always had my own business, and I've done a lot of different things since I was 14. I got really fortunate that my mom made a big push for, develop these skills. And I've worked for other people on and off for years and learned different things. But the people skills were really interesting. And so I have two things that I use for every business that I do. It doesn't matter who I'm interviewing. I ask, and you can take these too. This is my gift to you. I ask, if you won the lottery right now, what would you do? It doesn't matter what the job position is. If you give me anything other than entrepreneurial mindsets, like if you told me like, oh my God, I won the lottery, I'm going to go live on an island and fuck models all day long, that shows me that you want instant gratification and that you're not going to be here for the long term.
You don't want to build anything.
Right. That you just want this, whatever the next quick thing is, you're just going to be a bro hugger. Yep. Then the second thing I ask is, and people thought it was a silly one, but like there's a psychological thing behind it. So I'm going to ask you, cake or pie? There's not a right or wrong answer. It's how you answer it. Because if you just blurt out an answer and then you think about it, you go, oh yeah, that shows me that your mouth is moving faster than your brain, which is not the end of the world, but it's something that I need to take into account for that you might act impulsively instead of logically. So two things that I look for when I bring on people to the team. Could be another coach, could be someone working, in the warehouse, whatever it may be, but key things to look for.
I'm actually going to, when we get off the phone, I'm going to ping my manager about these things right now.
Yeah.
And do a little one-on-one interview with the staff, see what their answers are.
Your bonus depends on it.
Yes.
Okay. Last question. I know you got a lot of things going on. we're business people. We've seen scale, we've come and go. We're blessed to be able to do what we do. We get to travel all over the world, we get to hang out with our friends, but everyone's idea of success and wealth is different. What does success and what does wealth look like for you now as an adult?
Okay. I saw this really good Instagram reel the other day, and it's about a Mexican fisherman. Have you heard this?
Mm-mm.
So it's a joke, but the whole thing up until the last phrase is real. It's sentimental. So, synopsis: this Mexican fisherman is really good at fishing, and he catches a lot of fish. And this tourist comes in, and he's like, he sees him catch all this fish, and he goes over to the Mexican fisherman and he goes, you know, you're really good at catching fish. Have you ever thought about you hiring someone else to make more fish, to catch more fish, and then you can sell it, yada, yada, yada. You can sell the fish, make more money, scale it, open up another business, blah, 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 and then get into the production chains. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a key point. This tourist asked what the Mexican fisherman does when he's not fishing. And he goes, after when I'm done fishing, I love just cooking out with my family and playing guitar in front of them. And I do that every night. It's what I love to do. And then the tourist tries to convince him to open up a giant fishing, whatever, conglomerate and make millions and millions of dollars. And then the fisherman's like, okay, well, at the end of all this, what do I do? He goes, well, at the end of this, and the end of growing this giant business, you can cook out and play guitar with your family and by the fire. And he goes, but I'm already doing that. So that's like me. I'm not a monetary driven person. All I care is that I get to do what I like to do every day, and I'm comfortable in my finances. If I want to go buy something, I will buy it. But I'm not walking around buying, Coach purses or Maseratis. I don't like that stuff. So why would I need enough money to do that? That's just me. So I guess that's my financial wisdom. I put a bunch of money into retirement so that way I don't have to worry about those things now. But as long as my bills are paid and I have enough money to do whatever the fuck I want to do. If I want to go to Costa Rica for 10 days, I can do it. If I want to not work for a whole month and go on vacation, I could do it. But I like to work, so why would I do that? So that's sort of my mindset. And then what was the other part to it?
What is your idea of wealth?
Okay. Idea of wealth is, sheesh. I would say, man, in this explicit scenario, I hate to use this like a cliche term, it's health. So right now, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I almost canceled this podcast, but I couldn't. I'm in so much pain right now in my piriformis and my glutes. I got neuropathy in my leg. All came out of nowhere again. If I can have no pain forever, or like just be able to walk, that is wealth to me. Because if I am healthy internally, heart's functioning good, my body doesn't hurt, I can just get up out of the bed and go to work and do what I want, then I can have as much wealth as I want. So that's my cliche answer.
I like it. A lot of similarities there, my brother.
Yeah.
I will tag on to that.
Go ahead.
Because I do a lot of business coaching. I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. We do business consulting and all sorts of other stuff. And everyone asks like, oh, you have multiple homes, you get to travel, like it must be so amazing. I'm like, that's all gravy. It's really nice to have for sure. But I felt that I was rich when I could go to the grocery store and not even look at a price tag.
Yeah,
if I can go out to dinner, that's golden. Anything after that, it's just gravy.
Uh-huh.
That's cool. And as far as wealth goes, yeah, cool. We've got a house in Tahoe. We've got this house and, nice cars and shit. But I have a lot of people that depend on me. My wife depends on me. My kids depend on me. My athletes depend on me. if I can do this and be healthy, that's it. Is if I can keep helping people for as long as I can, because I don't look at this as work. I get to help people and I get to make an incredible living from it. And if I can just keep helping people for a long time, I'm cool with that.
Well, I'm gonna challenge you here. Why don't you look at it as work? Why does work have a negative connotation?
Okay. So my dad told me this years ago and it really resonated with me. He goes, I watch you. He goes, you have a problem with authority. I was like, well, that's an interesting thing to say. And he goes, you hate being told what to do. You've always hated being told what to do. He goes, you are a worker. He was like, if you're asked to do something, if I call you and ask you to come help me on one of my rentals, if I need something, your grandmother calls you, you always drop whatever you're doing and you'll help anyone. But you refuse to do something that someone tells you to do. It has to be asked. He goes, so when you do all these other things, you've got the credit card processing company, you've got the supplement company, real estate investments. These are all things that you wanted to do. So you enjoy it. You're excited by it. But if someone tells you, I need you to do this, it's an automatic fuck you. So as long as it was my choice, it's never a chore. The only thing that I will do that I deem as a chore that I legitimately hate, and my wife knows this, is apparently we love to do house projects, which requires me to spend money and time to do this shit. I will do it, but I will complain the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So an idea of quote unquote work is being told I have to do something. If it's my idea, I will hustle. I call it a hustle. I will hustle till the fucking wheels fall off. We got athletes in 6 different countries. I get maybe 4 hours of sleep if I'm lucky. I take a nap during the day, but I love it. I love the hustle. I love helping people. It brings me joy. It's probably why I'm fucking bald. My dad differs though. He says it's from all that stupid shit you injected in your body, but that's debatable.
He probably is right on that.
Yeah. Hey man, a gram of Masteron never hurt nobody.
Except for your hair follicles.
You don't need that.
You don't, but that's where this is where my hairline started and this is where it's at. So
just grow bigger eyebrows. You'll be fine.
nah, still wrong. Yeah, eyebrows up to here. Oh my God. I think I'm going to do that as a video.
There you go. Doesn't AD have some kind of hair, skin, and nail formula?
They should though. I don't know.
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny.
Well, we'll plug it with Soma.
Yes. Yes.
Discount code.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're hurting. Go relax. Get a salt float in.
I actually have an appointment at 1 for a 2-hour dry needling appointment.
Oh, I'm in dire need of one of those. I'm all
Have you ever
jacked up.
done that?
Yeah, years ago. I live in the middle of nowhere now. I live in a town of like 5,000 people.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I made a complete polar change. I went from living in San Francisco, growing up there, and then I moved out to the country, and so now I live in the middle of rice fields.
Oh wow.
And then when you go to my house, like I have a house in Tahoe on the west side in Tahoma, and so there's no tourists there. That's why we bought the house, because South Lake for cunts. But when you're there, you're just so isolated. So it doesn't matter whether we're at that house or this house. Everything is like a 30-minute drive. Whatever.
Yeah, that's exciting though. That sounds very peaceful.
It has its moments. But yeah, no, I'm in dire need of a dry needle and some hot stones and a salt float.
Yep.
Tiny Asian people walking on my back.
Yep. My needleist is a little Chinese woman.
Yeah, it's the best.
Chan.
Well, cool. Well, all right, brother. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, bud. Good talking with you.